Creation is not pretty, right? Uh, you have a baby and there's a mess. Well, I figured, you know what? I gotta just get this video made, and I figured, why not just be live while I do it and then edit it after the fact? There was a few years ago, I was in the an episode of the series on Netflix called Mind Hunter, season 2, episode 6. It was 2 days on set. You wouldn't see me unless you were really looking for me. But I was there for basically 12 hours for 2 days to film what would probably be about 3 minutes of the show. But the coolest thing about it is that not only did I get to meet Holt McCallany, it was extraordinary to see what these folks did and the amount of endurance that they had to to film this, and the amount of effort that went into just get a minute and a half worth of film or edited film. So what I'm going to do is just go with it. I'm going to see what things look like. I'm going to edit on the sites that are getting streamed live, the headings. That's not what I want. And I imagine you'll get bored and leave. So that's all good. But feel free to stick around. I'm going to make a video called Why Everything Seems So Expensive. And you'll get to see behind the scenes. But the coolest thing about it is you'll realize that a lot of these flashy videos that folks see or make are a lot of effort. uh, yeah. So here's the thing. So you can see that I'm live. I'm going to edit this and then post the video later. Live feed while creating why everything seems so expensive. And what I'm going to do is copy and paste that, hopefully. There we go. All right, so that's the live feed on that. That's on Facebook. What is it going to look like on YouTube? I don't know how to do this ahead of time. So if I did, I'd already have done it. But because I don't, you're going to watch me do it. And there again, big deal. And this is weird too, because I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to do it ahead of time. So that's muted. That's live. Let me see what face or YouTube looks like. Welcome to our live show. Yeah, this is weird. I don't understand how to update it. I guess I got to go into each site that I'm streaming live. I'm just going to edit this. No, I'm not. I'm going to let it be. All right, so here we go. I'm going to just go in stages and take breaks, and I don't even care. And then what I'm going to do is put overlays and text on it. I'm not going to have you watch that. I'm just going to create the live part for it's an outline. I suppose I could put this on there. Then it kind of just shrinks up the screen, but I like the rule of thirds too. All right, so here we go. This will be the introduction. I'll probably mess this up and record it a few different times, but there again, creation is messy, right? But the finished product is going to be what's on YouTube as the final edit. But I'm going to try and make you believe I'm looking at the lens while I'm reading the screen behind it. We'll see how that goes. Everything feels expensive because now that's is that where I want to start? Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Everything feels expensive because it is expensive, but not just your wallet that's bleeding. It's your life. Every dollar you spend represents time you traded away, time with your kids, time on your purpose, time you'll never get back, and you're trading it for stuff that loses value while you sleep. They program you to accept this, but you weren't created to labor under someone else's system. You were created to create, to multiply, to have dominion. Let me show you what I mean. And it's kind of interesting how this is set up. I used Claude to create some of this phrasing and then the outline based on some of the thoughts that I had. So here again, I just wanted to get let's see, say, all right. All right, so let's just try and do that again. Let me show you what I mean. This video is going to show you exactly why everything feels so expensive. Not the surface answer from the news, but the real reasons and three major forces working against you. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. So before we dive in, if you're tired of feeling broke, if you want to understand how money actually works instead of what they taught you in school, and if you're interested in building wealth according to how God designed it, subscribe to this channel. I'm on a mission to help people escape the system that keeps them trapped. And I put videos out regularly breaking down what's really going on with money, wealth, freedom. You're inside your head, and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss one. I don't really like that call to action, but here, so be it. Now, so here's a little context for why I'm making this video. I've been self-employed for the last 30 plus years off and on. I have a small tech business and also have a small insurance business. And the last few years, I've watched rates go up constantly. 95% of the time a client gets a renewal, it's going up. Every blue moon, every 1 in 20 maybe gets one that's gone down a smidge, but it's been brutal for my clients, and just I think everybody is feeling it. But it's not just insurance; it's groceries, gas, rent, everything. I just saw gas going up again the other day, but it started asking why, what's really going on. So, if you know Elon Musk and great thinkers, they talk about first principles. They break things down to the fundamental truth. He was interviewed and he thought, well, to create an electric car, the size of the batteries that are out today, they wouldn't fit. Well, he's like, well, that doesn't necessarily mean I need to go and buy and put those batteries in the car. What if I go and create my own batteries? Is basically what he did with that. But he broke things down to the fundamental truth. But I wanted to go even deeper than first principles. I wanted to go to original principles, the source code, if you will, the design specifications from God himself. So I went to the Bible. And it's the one book that's never been proven wrong, that hasn't been contradicted, that stood the test of time for thousands and thousands of years. And what I found about wealth, work, and how God originally designed things completely contradicts everything that we've been taught growing up. Right? I'm no financial guru. I'm not someone that went. I'm just someone that went to God's word, original principles, and I was encouraged to do that by some some folks. One being good old Myron Golden. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Great dude. But to understand how money and wealth is supposed to work, that's where I went. And then I starting to test this stuff in real life. And what I discovered is most people trapped in a system that's complete opposite of God's original design, and they don't even see it. And so here's what I want to do. If you're feeling some of this, if you're working hard, it's one of the things. If you're working hard, but everything keeps getting more and more expensive, and you're trying to figure out why, make a little comment, like comment freedom below. Let's see. Let me know what you're here and ready to see things differently. But before I show you these three forces, I need to give you the framework, because everything I'm about to say is rooted in those original principles. Genesis 1:28. If I go to that, let me pull it up. Genesis 1:28. Here we go. Let's just pull the whole thing up. Creation's messy, right? But this is the book of creation, 27. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female. He created them. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it, rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every other living creature that moves on the ground. So that's this version. What is this? That's the NIV version. Let's do the New King James Version, 128. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. Oh, that was an ad. Yeah. Be fruitful and multiply. Be. Multiply is do. Fill the earth is do. Subdue it is do. Have dominion. Be, do, have. You've heard that before, right? So this was all, this is his first command to humanity before sin, before the fall, before anything went wrong. Be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion. Not work hard and break even, not trade your life for stuff, not stay safe and comfortable. Multiply, subdue, have dominion. It's God designed you to create, not to multiply what you're given, to exercise authority over your circumstances, not to be buried under the circumstances, not be a victim of them. The system is, this is what you've been taught. It's the exact opposite. It teaches you to be passive, trade your time for money, accept whatever circumstances you're given. That's not God's design. Slavery with better marketing. So keep this in mind as we go through these points, because once you start to see what's really happening, the question becomes, are you going to keep accepting it, or are you going to keep, or are you going to exercise the dominion God gave you? But first, you have to be fruitful, multiply, have dominion, subdue the earth, fulfill it. Here's what we're going to cover: 3 external forces against you. The first, I'm going to show you how most people are trading the most valuable resource that they have, their life, for things that decrease in value. And I'll show you a completely different way to think about this. The second, I'll expose how the government is quietly stealing your savings account every single day through money printing, and why you can't protect yourself just by working harder. And third, I'll show you the most important, why most people stay broke even when they make good money, because they don't understand what money actually is and how it's supposed to flow. And if you ignore it, but before I tell you these things, if you ignore them, you can work as hard as you want and still feel broke 10 years from now, 20 years from now, because this game is rigged against you. But once you see the game, once you understand these forces, you can start playing a little differently. You start building wealth instead of just surviving. These 3 forces are why everything feels so expensive. More importantly, I'll show you what to do about it. So let's start with the first one. Here's the death trade. Most people are trading their actual life for things that decrease in value, not money, life, right? Think about it. Hours, time you'll never get back. Let me break this down. You're not buying things with money. You're buying them with hours of your life. Here's what I mean. If you make $25 an hour, even if it's $50 or $100 an hour, $50,000 car, that's 2,000 hours. It's 50 full weeks. It's a year of your life. $200 pair of shoes, even if you're making $100 an hour, it's 2 hours you're giving up. If you're trading, when you're trading time for money, $5 cost for every day, it's 365 hours per year. So if you do the math, what's your hourly rate? That purchase, you're thinking about how many hours is that? It's how many days of your life if you're just trading time for money. Think about what those hours actually mean. You're talking about when you're sitting in traffic trying to get to work, dealing with a pain in the neck boss, missing your kid's baseball game or this time of year football game, stressed, exhausted, frustrated, for what? So you can get things that are worth less a year from now than they are today. Think about a car. I mean, anytime you drive a car off the lot that's brand new, it's just boom, it's instantly depreciating 20% as soon as you drive it off the lot. That's not news. Clothes, I mean, if you're wanting to stay in style, that's not my gig. I do like nice clothes, but at the same time, I'm not really interested in paying, you know, retail for them, if you will. But they're out of style. Each year new clothes come out. That phone, it's outdated in 2 years. Outdated furniture, garage sale material in 5 years. You traded actual life for that, so it's time you never get back. Moments you missed, energy you expended, and what do you have to show for it? Stuff that's losing value, depreciating liabilities. So here's some passages in the Bible that lay the foundation for this. Matthew 16:26. Jesus said, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?" You can modernize that. What does it profit you to work 40 hours buying stuff that ends up in a yard sale? Or the rich fool. There's a parable about a rich man had so much stuff he had to build bigger barns to store it all. He thought it was all set, and then you have many goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. God's response: "You fool! That very night your soul is required of you. Then whose will all this be?" He spent his life accumulating, and it meant nothing. Do not store yourselves up. Do not store up yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy. It's literally telling you the stuff you're trading your life for is temporary. It breaks, it rusts. Moths eat it. It's all going away. So, and this is huge. What if there's a completely different way? What if instead of trading your time, which you never get back, you trade your creativity, which multiplies the more you use it? And what if you're not stuck in this game? Let me show you what I mean. Here's the alternative that changes that. What if you okay, so this is telling me I put a break in here. How far along am I? Did I hit save on that? Again, creation is messy. $18 minutes. I can keep going. This was going to be I originally had this for like an hour, but I'm just going to keep going. But here we are. Okay. I must have skipped this part. I don't know. I'm going to edit this in. Here's the cruelest part of the trading the time for your money. You can't get that time back. Those hours are gone forever. You can make more money, but you can't make more time. And the older I get, the more I feel that every hour you trade in it is an hour you'll never have with your family, never have to pursue your purpose, never have to build something meaningful. And if you keep doing this, keep trading your life for depreciating stuff, you'll wake up at 65, which is right around the corner for me. You realize you traded the best years of your life for a garage full of junk and retirement account that can't buy back the time you lost. So, and that's not for me. It's not really the life that I was looking for. So, but at this, and this is huge. What if there's a completely different way? What if instead of trading time, which you never get back, you trade your creativity, which multiplies when you use it? What if you're not stuck in this game? Let me show you what I mean. Here's the alternative. Here's what's beautiful about creativity. The more you use it, the more you have. Uh, Myron says this constantly. Myron Golden taught me something that revolutionized how I think about money. He said, you can create offers according to your creativity, not from your creativity or with your creativity, according to it. When you create from your creativity or with it, it kind of implies that you're depleting it. It depletes you. Making one thing uses it up. You're trading your creative energy. But creative energy is infinite. When you create according to your creativity, it doesn't deplete anything. You make one offer. Making one offer doesn't make you less creative. If anything, it makes you more creative. It's just a matter of a decision. And the more decisions that you make, the stronger your decision ability gets. You can make 1,000 offers from the same creative insight. So here's the key. Your creativity is like a well that gets deeper the more you draw from it, not like your time, which is shorter the more you use it. But once you understand this, you'll be changed forever. Therefore, you'll be able to create and have a new insight and a new perspective to be able to do this. And that's what's happened to me. I've heard him say this. It's like, man, and that's why I'm creating these videos and just giving into the fact that some of it's going to be messy. It's less than ideal, but at the end of the day, I can edit this and use it as one of those assets from my own personal wisdom, having done the creation. And I got to get rid of this guy because he's staring back at me. And practicing being in front of this camera, which it's a little less than comfortable because you put yourself out there. But at the end of the day, you just learn to grow through it and accept it, and come what may. Those that are watching or ever watch, there's going to be the people that you attract that can be and have uh, some affinity for the things that you're doing. So there you go. Where was I? Yeah, here we go. So here's what it practically looks like. You could write a book. I have written a book. It's not a very good book, but I wrote one. It's on Amazon. I mean, I can't even find it, to tell you the truth, but it's there. I can write another book, but you create it once and you sell it forever. It doesn't cost you more time per sale. Your creativity produced something that multiplies. You could create a course. I get buddies that I see posting all kinds of stuff, especially one in particular that's always fishing. And I don't know if he hunts anymore. Another fellow's hunting. A couple of them are hunting. And here, if you were to and create stuff like along those lines, I know this. I know the one fella. I mean, I know if he were to create something of an offer where he would take people fishing to some of these places and be like a guide. I mean, I'm sure that people would take him up on that offer. No question about it. And especially if he posted it more and made more of an intention. But if he makes this stuff into a course, you record it once, sell it to thousands of people. Every sale doesn't require more of your time. The creativity is multiplied. You build a system for all this. And this is kind of part of the thing that I'm doing, is that I've created some GPTs. I'd look up what GPT even means. I still have to look it up. But but it takes a while. Or you can direct folks to some of the other things that are already in place and build a system where you set it up once and you leverage it infinitely. And what I'm talking about is doing some affiliate marketing. Your creativity created the machine to direct traffic to those offers, that you show people how difficult that it is, but it's already pre-built so that they can just, instead of going spending their time creating something similar, just pay a couple bucks and use what was already created. This content, one video reaches, if it reaches 5 people, great. If it reaches 50, even better. But if it reaches 500 or 5,000, that you're leveraging it. I'm creating the one video one time. One idea turns into multiple revenue streams, and creativity and multiplies the impact. And see, and the better that I get at creating some of this stuff and speaking and explaining some of the ideas and thoughts and tools that I'm using to do that, the better it gets. And you're trading ideas, and ideas don't deplete; they come from God. So here's the original design. And what's so powerful about this, it's actually what God designed you for from the very beginning, before sin, before fall, before anything went wrong. It's God's first command: be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and have dominion. You break that. Not be fruitful and stay the same. Be fruitful and stay the same. Not work hard and break even. Not trade your hours for someone else's profit. Multiply. What does that mean? Take what you have and increase it. Don't just preserve, grow it. Create more from what you're given and have dominion. Exercise authority. Take control. Don't be passive. Don't be a victim. Don't be, I just, I've only got so many vacation days. My sick days are almost up. I gotta, I can't call in sick. God didn't create a trade hours for dollars for 40 years to sit in a cubicle building someone else's dream, and to be under someone else's system your whole life. God created to multiply, create, have dominion, exercise dominion. You're made in the image of God. It's not motivational speaking. That's your original design specs. So here's another one. Matthew 25, the parable of the talents. I've talked about this one in another video. He gives 3 servants money, gives them one, 2, and the other one 5. The guys that with the 5 and the 2, they doubled it. The guy with the 1, he buried it. And when the master came back and saw that it was just buried, he's less than happy. Those who multiplied, well done, good and faithful servant. They were praised. You were faithful with a few things, I'll put you in charge of many things. Who got condemned? The one who just preserved. You wicked and lazy servant. He was called wicked for just keeping it safe. God rewards multiplication, not preservation. God rewards taking what you're giving and growing it, and he expects you to use leverage, creativity to multiply. Look, I get it. You might be thinking, David, that sounds great, but I don't know what to create. I'm not creative. I don't have a product. But let me stop you right there. You have experience, you have perspective, you have knowledge that someone else needs. When I started the tech business, selling phones and business telephone services and that kind of thing, it was kind of interesting. I kind of got led down that path to the point where it was like, man, this is a little easier than what I was expecting. Not to mention the fact that the profit or the cut that I was getting didn't seem quite right. Granted, there was a lot of infrastructure in there in place, but at the end of the day, it was stuff that seemed manageable. And so, as you take one step, you can see a little further. And if you're opening your eyes and are aware of what you might be able to take advantage of, let the creativity set in, and you can just jump on it. It's not about being an artist or an inventor. Yeah, it's just about being aware and making a decision, and um, letting it grow. It's about taking what you know, what you've learned, and what you've experienced, and creating value from it that doesn't require you to trade more time. And that's the shift. And it's gone for me from doing and focusing on one-on-one activities to a shift where the I want to get more and more away from one-on-one stuff and start to the point where it's campaign and promotion and one-to-many. Had a girl reach out, more than one, but the most recent was, "Hey, do you want my, sales call script or my framework for, booking sales calls?" And I didn't answer, but I will. I'm figuring out, all right, what my reply will be, but it's going to be along the lines of, I don't want to go backwards. It's stuff I've already figured out. I want to multiply the time instead of just linear growth. I'm looking for that exponential growth. Also realizing that disruption follows intention, and to get to that exponential growth, there's going to be some roadblocks, setbacks, pitfalls that will keep me from that. So be it. But that's the shift, using the creativity. But now this is huge. Understanding that you should trade creativity instead of time. That's a game changer. But even if you do that, even if you start creating assets and building leverage, there's a hidden force stealing your wealth every day. And if you don't see this, nothing else matters, because while you're trying to build wealth, or quietly taking it from you, and and you didn't even know what was happening. Let me show you what I mean by this. Yeah. But so what I mean by this, every time the government prints money, they're stealing from your savings account. You didn't vote for it. You didn't consent to it. You can't opt out. Most people don't even know it's happening. So let me explain. I'm going to make this as simple as I can. Imagine the money in the world is represented by 100 slices of pizza. You own 10 slices. That's 10% of the pizza in the world. Now the government decides to print more money. Suddenly there's 200 slices of pizza total. You still have your 10 slices. They didn't take them from you, but now your 10 slices is only 5% of the total. Your slices didn't disappear, but they buy less because there's more pizza in circulation. It's inflation in its simplest terms. The more money in circulation, each unit of money buys less, your purchasing power decreases. And even though your dollars stayed the same, except it's not the pizza, it's your money, it's your savings account, it's your paycheck, it's your retirement fund, it's everything you work for. They just made it worth less. Without your permission, without asking, without a vote, without even knowing about it. They stole from you, and they did it in a way most people don't even understand. So now you might be thinking, okay, but how much could they really be printing? It can't be that bad. Well, here's the numbers that I had this Claude do some research from 2020 to 2022, 2 years. The M2 money supply increased by approximately 40%. Let me say that again. 2 years, 40%. So if you had 100,000 saved in 2020, you didn't touch it. You were being responsible, saving for the future. By 2022, that 100 grand had the purchasing power of about 60,000. And I have people saying, "Hey, why'd my insurance go up?" You didn't spend 40,000. You didn't lose it. They just made it worth less. Made it worth 40,000 less. For every dollar you had, they took 40 cents of value without your permission. So who got the money? Now here's the question nobody asks: where did that money go? When they created 40% more money, where did it go? It went to the banks, corporations, Wall Street, people who were already wealthy and could borrow at low interest rates, the well-connected insiders. Did it go to you? Did your wages go up 40%? No. Did your savings account grow 40%? No. But you know what did go up 40%? Eggs, gas, rent, insurance, groceries, everything you actually buy. So they created new money, gave it to the wealthy, and you paid for it through inflation. That's just the game. But there's actually a term for it. It's called the Cantillon effect, named after this economist in the 1700s, Richard Cantillon. He figured out something most people still don't understand. When new money gets created, the people closest to the money printing benefit first. So here's the first stage. Government prints new money. Banks get it first. They can lend it, invest it, use it before prices go up. Corporations get loans at low rates, buy assets, expand, invest still before prices increase. Wealthy individuals borrow cheap money, buy real estate, stocks, businesses. Prices starting to rise, but they're ahead of it. New money finally reaches the average workers, but by now prices have already gone up. Your wages might increase 2 to 3%, but prices didn't go up 2 to 3%, did they? It went up 5 to 8%. You lost ground. So the rich get richer. Yep. You get poorer. You got inflation, and they call it economic stimulus. It's that they just disguise it with a technical language. And this is telling me here, I put a spot in there, and again, that's every day I see it with some of the insurance stuff. I mean, you can see it from your own perspective. Some prices haven't changed on some of these tools that I use. But just look at cars. I mean, cars, the price of cars these days has gone, crazy. So, think about your life for the last few years. What were you paying for rent in 2020? What were groceries costing 5 years ago? Well, how about gas? Gas was probably pretty close to the same, I suppose. Actually, no, it was less. um, and they just did it on purpose. But you might be thinking, this is frustrating, but what does the Bible have to say about this? Does God address this? Yep, from what I could dig up, here's what the Bible said, and it might surprise you. Just checking on my puppy dog. The Bible just specifically condemns what we were just talking about. Proverbs 11:1, dishonest scales are abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Proverbs 20:10, diverse weights and diverse measures, they are both alike an abomination to the Lord. What's a dishonest scale? It's when you change the measuring stick while someone's not looking. Picture an ancient marketplace. You go to buy grain. The merchant has a scale. He puts his thumb on the scale while you're weighing your grain. That's a dishonest scale. You're getting less than what you paid for. God says that's an abomination. So it's one of the strongest words in Scripture. If I were to do a quick, I'd have to do a concordance. Let me see if I can do that. Bible concordance. Let's take a peek. Proverbs 11:1. These are cool whenever you see how these are written in Hebrew. Abomination. Tawabat. There we go. It's finally loading. Gotta get a new computer. I may or may not keep this in the video, but Tawabat. Abomination. All right, this is too slow for me. I could look it up in my other one, but anyway. All right. So here's the connection. What is inflation? It's changing the value of the dollar. It's changing the measuring stick while you're not looking. They're putting their thumb on the scale. When you worked for that money, you were paid in dollars worth more. You traded your time when the dollar had more purchasing power. When you go to spend that dollar, you're spending dollars worth less. Same dollars buys fewer goods. They changed the measuring stick. It's exactly what the Bible calls this an abomination. We call it monetary policy. So here's another one. Deuteronomy 25:13 and 15. You shall not have in your bag differing weights, a heavy and a light. You shall have a perfect and just weight. It just means in ancient times, merchants would carry weights in a bag for their scales. God's just saying, don't have two sets of weights. One when you're buying heavier, just so you pay less, and one when you're selling lighter, so when you pay more. Have one honest weight. But that's what the government doing. They measure your taxes in dollars that are worth more. They pay their debts in dollars that are worth less. You pay in valuable dollars, you get paid back in cheaper dollars. It's exactly what God prohibited. I could keep beating this dead horse, but it does mean you need to understand the game you're playing. It doesn't mean you're helpless, but you just have to do something about it. You can't win just by working harder, because they can print money faster than you can earn it. You can't win just by saving, because they devalue those dollars the faster you can save them. You just need a different strategy. Different way of thinking about money entirely. Rich Dad, Poor Dad talks about this. He says he goes into debt, and that's one of their biggest reasons. He makes money by going into debt and understands the whole game. He buys assets with debt, and it's not really the point of what I'm talking about. But it's the whole. He's figured it out, right? But what it brings us to the third force, and it might be the most important, because even if you understand the first two, even if you're trying to build assets to protect yourself, most people still stay broke because they don't understand what money actually is. The third force working against you, every dollar you spend just isn't a dollar. It's every dollar that could have become something else. You're just not buying the thing, you're killing the future. Let me explain what I mean by this, but it's not going to be what you think. Everyone's heard this example. Skip that $5 coffee. Invest in it in 10% return. In 30 years, you'll have 300,000. Most people hear that and roll their eyes. I'm not giving up my coffee. That's ridiculous. The point isn't about this coffee specifically. The point is this: every purchase is a choice. It's now or later. The choice between now and later. Consumption and multiplication, eating and planting. The biblical metaphor is the seed. Here's how the Bible talks about this. Every dollar is a seed. You can do two things with a seed. You can eat it, tastes good, satisfies you today, gives you energy now, but it's gone. You don't have anything left. You'll be hungry again tomorrow. Second one is you plant it. It's delayed gratification. Doesn't satisfy you today, but it becomes a tree. That tree produces a fruit. The fruit has more seeds. Those seeds produce more trees. It multiplies. It feeds you forever. It's the same seed, two completely different outcomes. Questions are you eating your seeds, or are you planting them? Here's what happens if you get this wrong. Here's why this matters so much. If you only eat your seeds, you're only satisfied today, you're hungry tomorrow, you never get ahead, always dependent on the next paycheck, always one emergency away from being broke, and you're 30 years from now, you still have nothing. If you plant your seeds, you're hungry today, but that's okay. You've delayed the gratification a little bit, but it's not what I'm talking about completely. But you're building orchards, your trees start producing, eventually you have more than you can eat, and you can give seeds away and still have plenty. 30 years from now, you have abundance. Most people eat all their seeds and they wonder why they have no harvest. And this is where most financial advice gets it wrong. I'm not telling you to never spend money. I'm not saying eat ramen for 30 years and die with $1 million in the bank, because I actually hate this. I hate budgeting. I hate the whole idea. It's not my bag. I'm not even good at it. I'm not even going to pretend I'm good at it. But money is it's a flow. It's a medium of exchange, not for storage. Let's say that again. I say that it's a medium of exchange, not a medium of storage. Money is meant to flow. It's meant to move, to circulate. It's energy. When you hoard it, when you grip it tight, when you're terrified to spend it, you actually kill the very thing that makes it valuable. Look at how God designed the universe. Rivers flow. They don't stop, or they become stagnant swamps. Blood flows. Blocked arteries kill you. Breath flows. Hold your breath and you suffocate. You can't make yourself suffocate, I don't think, but air circulates. Stagnant air breeds disease. Energy transfers. It's constantly moving and changing force. When things stop flowing, they die. Stagnant water breeds mosquitoes and disease. Blocked arteries cause heart attacks. Held breath causes suffocation. Trapped air gets toxic. Money is the same principle. It needs to flow. But here's something Myron talks about. Good old Myron Golden. He taught me that changed everything forever. God created a garden, not a bakery. He didn't create pizza. He created fruit. Think about the difference. A bakery makes baked goods. You eat the bread, it's gone. Consumption at the end. Nothing's left. You have to go back and buy more bread. Every time you eat, you're depleting what you made. The process stops with consumption. But with a garden, it produces fruit. You eat the fruit, but you still have the seeds. Those seeds get planted. They produce more fruit, which has more seeds, which produce more fruit. Consumption is actually necessary for production. Consumption is part of the multiplication process. It's God designed from the very beginning. The garden is a system of flow and multiplication. You consume, but you also reproduce. The more you consume from a garden properly, the more it can produce. It's how God designed wealth to work. It's not a bakery where consumption ends. It's a garden where consumption is part of the multiplication flow, and multiplication work together. But here's the wrong approach. Most financial advice operates from scarcity. They say save every penny for 40 years and die with money in the bank. That's their bag. They're thinking like a bakery. Consumption ends everything. So hoard, preserve, be terrified to spend. Remember the talents parable. The servant who buried his money, who just preserved it, got condemned, called wicked and lazy, because God's design isn't preservation. It's multiplication. It's abundance. It's flow. So yes, spend money, enjoy it, let it flow, exchange it for value. God didn't design you for deprivation. He designed you for abundance. But here's the key question, and this is what separates the wealthy from the broke. What are you exchanging it for? This question, what am I exchanging it for? This is where the rubber meets the road, because there are two completely ways to use money. When one builds wealth while the other keeps you broke. Let me show you both. There's three categories. Every time money flows through your hands, ask yourself, what am I exchanging it for? Good exchanges, these multiply. Increases flow, an asset that produces more money, creates real value, experiences, relationships, memories, health, multiplies education, skills, tools, systems, time. If you buy back your time, that's a good exchange. Have someone do some work that's already done. Buy a software piece that's already built. Have someone cut the grass. Have someone clean the house. Have someone wash your car. Have someone clean your pool. The bad exchanges decreases flow. Debt that bleeds your monthly subscriptions you don't use. Depreciates stuff worth less tomorrow. Dead ends, mindless consumption without zero return. The wealthy make good exchanges. The broke make bad exchanges. So, I mean, I could give you the $50,000 truck example. I need to save up 50 grand or finance and pay $800 for 6 years. I'm not sure that that's the right math, but if AI said it must be true, right? 8 times 12 is 8 times 12 is 8, it's 9. So call it 10. So yeah, that's a decent interest rate. But so they work overtime, cut back and everything, save, finally get the 50 grand, buy the truck. What do they have? The truck worth 40,000. They move it. It's nothing in savings and no change in cash flow. The truck depreciates every single day. 5 years later, it's maybe worth 25 grand. Spent 50 of their life's time. They own something worth half that. They're eating from the bakery. The consumption ended it. Here's the garden thinking. Someone wants a $50,000 truck. Thinks I'm not going to stop the flow because I'm going to increase it. So they take that 50 grand or even less, build an asset, create a course that generates $1,000 a month, builds a consulting offer and gets a client, buys a rental property that cash flows. That's one of the big things in Get Old Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Creates a content system that generates affiliate income, builds a small business or side hustle. You could create all kinds of businesses with 50 grand. I mean, even if it's just, something similar, but you want to make sure that's a system, not necessarily another job where you're just working for yourself. But what you have, the cash flow to make the truck payment from the asset, an asset that keeps producing after the truck is paid off, and a system that can scale more courses sold, more clients, more properties than the truck. And you got the truck and increased money flow with that idea. 5 years later, the truck's still worth 25 grand, same as person A, but the asset has generated 60 grand and it's still producing income. And then they can scale. They're operating from a garden. Consumption led to seeds. The seeds led to trees. The trees kept producing fruit. Person A traded their life for a depreciating asset, stopped the flow. It's a bakery thinking. Person B traded their creativity, created offers according to the creativity, bought the depreciating asset, and keeps producing. They increase the flow. It's guard thing. Both got the truck. One built wealth. One stayed broke. All right, so here we are. Let's see. But here's the thing. I'm not saying never buy anything fun. I mean, that's part of exactly what I'm not saying at all. I'm saying you buy experiences. That's one of the very first things that I did say. Not to never enjoy your money, live like a monk, eat ramen for 30 years and die with millions. That's scarcity thinking. That's fear-based. It's actually blocking the flow. What am I saying? Build the engines that create the flow first, then spend from the overflow, not from the seed. I think I made my point. Build your asset. Let those assets grow and multiply. Spend from the fruit, not from the seed. The seed keeps producing more fruit and you have abundance to spend and plant more. So Malachi 3:10. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. Floodgates, pouring out a blessing, so much you can't even store it. It's flow language. It's abundance language, not hoarding, not white knuckling every penny, not deprivation, abundance, overflow, flow. Build the whole tithe. Bring the whole tithe. Here's another cool thing that just cracked me in the face the other day. Not that I was um, against um, sacrifice and reading in the Old Testament, God's telling to bring basically the best of what is um, firstborn, in terms of the ox and the rams and everything, and not ones that are blemished. And bring the fruit that's the good fruit. Don't bring stuff that's rotten. He's like, bring the best stuff for your burnt offerings and your sacrifice. And not that I was against it, but I read one of the comments and one of the things, and it just kind of cracked me in the face. Okay, bring the best stuff, because that's what God sacrificed in his son, his only son. He made the sacrifice of his son. And I was like, oh man, yeah. Bring the best, sacrifice the best, because God will reward you for those sacrifices. So here's something that the deprivation crowd misses. You can't be generous if you're terrified of spending. God designed you to be generous, to bless others, to be a conduit of provision. That's another thing he said. Whenever you're going to pick out um, and harvesting the grain, don't grab it all. Leave some in the field for uh, those that are poor that come in looking for stuff afterwards. Given it will be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. That's flow language, but you can't give from fear. You can only give from overflow. So build the overflow, create the assets, develop the system that generates increasing flow. Then be generous, be abundant, bless others, enjoy your life, exchange money for value freely. You're operating from abundance, not scarcity, from overflow, not depletion. That's the difference. I'm looking to see where I am here. But I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. A $5,000 family vacation. You're creating memories. You're building relationships, stories you tell for decades, bonding with your kids. That's a good exchange that creates real value. $50,000 building. That's an asset that creates cash flow. $2,000 on education that gives you a high income skill. $500 on health, a gym membership you actually use. That's and quality food. Those are good exchanges. I think $5,000 on clothes you'll wear twice. It's not necessarily the best. 50,000 on a boat that sits in your driveway. I think the two best days I've heard is whenever you buy for of people that have a boat is the day you buy it and the day you sell it. Not that I've ever had a boat. $200 a month on subscriptions you forget about and you don't use. $1,000 on impulse purchases, that you don't even remember. So Ecclesiastes 3 says there's a time for everything, a time to plant, a time to harvest, a time to save, and a time to spend. The wise person knows when to do which. And I'm going to kind of wrap that up here with this because I'm going to make a part 2 to this video. Here's my challenge to you over the next week before you make any purchases, even small ones. Ask yourself, what am I exchanging this for? Does it increase flow or decrease it? Is this a garden or is it a bakery? Am I planting seeds or am I eating all of them? It's just one question. We'll see how you change how you see money. But what happens if you ignore this? If you ignore this and the other two forces that I was talking about, you'll keep trading your life for stuff. Your wealth will keep getting stolen through inflation. You'll keep bleeding money through bad exchanges. 10 years from now, you'll be in the same place. 20 years from now, you'll still be wondering what happened. You'll work for your whole life and have nothing to show for it. But if you apply these principles, even if you're starting late like I am, you'll start building assets instead of buying stuff. Protect yourself from inflation by creating cash flow, because cash flow scales to, it doesn't get depleted by depreciation. I could even talk about that, but it just kind of keeps up with inflation. You build wealth and that compounds over time. You exercise dominion. God gave you. The choice is yours. These forces are external. These things are being done to you, but there's something even more insidious, something internal that keeps people stuck. And in part 2 of this block, I'm going to show you why income doesn't follow effort. And why the hardest working people are often the brokest. You've been enrolled in a stay broke forever plan since kindergarten, and why everyone celebrates that plan. And most importantly, the exact strategy to break free and start building wealth the way God designed it. And if you don't understand what I'm going to cover in part 2, you can apply everything in part 1 and still stay stuck because the programming, it runs deep. And until you see it, you can't break free from it. So part 2, which is going to be another video, is where we go from understanding the problem to having a path out. And I'll have to go back and make put the link in the description for that one. But if you like this video, drop a comment, ask a question, tell me I'm crazy, tell me your life was a mess, which I already know, and we'll see you in the next video. I hope this blessed and served you. I'm David Britt Jr. Until the next one.